Episode number 241.
We either need to move people or we need to move things, but we need transportation. So Uber with Uber Eats, if they're not moving people, they're moving things. It's incredible that those two things go together.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. As you guys know, I'm always fired up, but today I'm extra fired up because we have our featured guest today, Melanie Parish. Melanie, are you ready to be real?
I'm ready to be real, Travis. I'm excited to be here.
Let's get experimental, folks. She is a speaker, an author, folks, and she's really changing people's mindset on leadership through the Experimental Leader, and also she has her own podcast, folks. We'll give that a shout out, the Experimental Leader podcast. So excited to have you on the show today. First, like I always ask, how's your day going today?
My day is going great. My husband and one of my 3 kids are hiking to Niagara Falls. They're trying a little pandemic experiment, so they're off on a hike. So I'm home with one of my kids. So it's a little more spacious in my house right now, which is nice.
That is awesome. Yeah, sometimes it's good to have that space, as we know in relationships, just to
yes, it is.
When you see back and then, everyone gets to do their own thing. That's cool. I've always wanted to see the Niagara Falls, folks. And you can just hit a quick Google search and it's amazing. It's incredible. And so one day I'm going to be seeing that thing when we get back on planes, trains, and automobiles here pretty soon. So excited. First off, when I was looking at you, the Experimental Leader, what gave you that concept? Because I think it's a fascinating insight into what a leader is.
Well, I think I started to learn a little bit about how people experiment in organizations, particularly around continuous improvement, things like lean, and agile, and some of the tech things. I started working with a bunch of tech leaders. And I realized that there's a fair bit of information out there on experimenting in general. Toyota Kata is a great book by Mike Rother that talks about experimenting. But because I work in leadership, I started to be really curious about what it means to lead experimentation in an organization. And what kind of leader do you need to be to have that kind of organization? And then I started to, think about and talk to my clients about it. And I started to understand what are the barriers and bottlenecks to being that kind of leader, what gets in the way. And I realized there's a really different mindset to being an experimental leader. Experimentation is a very individual activity. You come up with an idea, you experiment, you try that. But when you start to think about lots of people in an organization experimenting, thinking about who you need to be to lead that is really interesting. And so I realized there's actually a space in leadership to think about experimentation.
And I was thinking about the fascinating book about Netflix, and that they allow a lot of their team members a lot of flexibility in what they do, from what I've understood and listening.
They do.
The book, the lady, she was one of the head ladies, and I read her book. It's one of those things you just can't think of it right now, but I'll see it and I'll be, I know it. But the point is, it was all about, I think it's culture code or something along the rounds. The culture of Netflix was amazing, folks, because they allowed the people to experiment, to create ideas, create shows, and actually do the stuff. Produce it, and actually do some of this stuff. And then they, instead of just being someone that was your assistant, next thing you know, they came up with a great show idea, and they're doing the show now, and they're empowering, I would say, everybody.
And they're
great. Part of the team, be part of the team. Contribute, baby, contribute.
Yeah, they're super interesting. They're interesting. They also allow their people to have really big budgets in order to just go ahead. I mean, on the flip side, if you aren't producing and you're failing, they give you a lot of rope to hang yourself with as well. And they don't mind exiting people. The person you're referring to, I think she got exited after she wasn't providing value.
Patty McCord, folks. Powerful.
There you go.
Building a culture of freedom and responsibility. I love that.
Yes, there you go. That's it. And I've I've had clients at Netflix, and it's very interesting to watch that juxtaposition between freedom and responsibility all the time.
Right. But talk about a company, folks, that's changing the world in many ways. You know, AMC just filed for bankruptcy, which is the movie producers and the everything has been changed by Netflix in many, many ways. And not for a bad way. It's just the future we live in. You can get Netflix on any device. They have so much amazing content, comedies. We were laughing at Joe Coy last night. Oh my goodness. He had a funniest comedian set. You know, you're watching comedians and just has so much good content on there at a good price, you know, that people can afford. And they've done it, folks. They've cut the cord. They've said, hey, we're going to simplify our bills. We're going to go and not have to have all these, you know, channels that we used to have. We're going to just watch Netflix, and we're going to watch Amazon and get some broadcasts. There's the Disney Plus, which is out there, which basically has, you know, some of the add-on services for your kids and families, which is so vital, as I see for my little brother. And I have a daughter that's now 16 months, so we haven't tried to get her completely into the Disney shows, but I know it's going there. I'm trying to still hold her against the 2-year rule, supposedly, to limit the amount of content for her eyeballs. But the point is, folks, is that it's amazing now. We're all experimenting because now we're all working from Zoom. I just put a video out there on YouTube talking about the successful tips that you can use in your life and work balance, because we're all maybe working from home, maybe actually working more productively because we don't have to drive into work. We can hop in on our computer, work, you know, without being interrupted. I know my dad runs a business with many employees and constantly being interrupted, you know, and I was like, that's when I started my business 11 years ago, folks. People always wanted me to have an office. And I said, no, you don't get it. Look at WordPress. Look at the future of the companies. They work differently. It's a way more productive way of working, folks. And at the end of the day, it's the bootstrap model that works because you save costs and people work when they want and they're happier, folks, when they don't have to commute. They can be with their kid, watching their kid and working. Think about the double whammy on that income stream. Usually you have to pay $15 an hour. Now you're making $15 an hour and you're watching your kid. Yeah, let's do that. So there's just, and we're all transforming. And I think that leadership is going to have to transform with that. Otherwise, there's going to be some blockbusters out there that are going to have to say goodbye. There's going to be, you know, JCPenney's, Forever 21, these sad stories, these companies explode and now they're maybe going away, you know? And so
it's interesting to think about, you know, those, are there companies whose time is past?
Right.
You know, people talk about that with a lot of sadness right now. And I think we all have nostalgia.
Sure.
But I don't know that means that we shouldn't be changing. You know, I believe that there are businesses that can pivot and continue to provide value in the marketplace,
right,
provide value to shareholders, provide value to customers. And those are the businesses that deserve space and they deserve our dollars. You know, we vote with our feet all the time. I think all of us know on March 15th where we were when this started and what experiments we started when that happened.
Right.
And all I will say is we need to continue to collect data on those experiments. We were forced into new ways of doing things, and we don't want to just be doing those by default. We want to continue to ask ourselves, are we collecting data? What are we learning? What's our next experiment? How do we shift and continue to shift and pivot in this time? Things that worked 3 months ago may not be the best solution for right now. Right. Every day the world is changing. So it's just so interesting to keep making sure that we have our feet on the ground as we're experimenting right now.
Right. And not be afraid to experiment. I remember thinking and had one of our guest folks, Daniel Burris, if you want to check him out, he's a futurist. You know, his millions of people on LinkedIn follow this gentleman. He's talking about the future, folks, and what the future is. And it's all based on what he would call hard trends. There's certain trends that are hard. I'm going to give you guys some right now, okay? Humans get older. Women are going to continue to be a powerful force in the workplace. And they're going to continue to start powerful companies, and it's changed like no other time before. As we age, folks, we need more healthcare, right? Skin wrinkles over time. And I'm just giving you ones that I'm noticing. There's many hard trends out there. Skin wrinkles over time. I'm 38 now. I know that. I'm going to try my very best to use the skin creams and take care of myself, SPF and everything, but it wrinkles over time. And at some point, hair grays and falls out. And so there's certain trends in life that they don't discriminate. It's going to happen. And you have to think about that in your business. Now, we've been given a trend like we never experienced, like a pandemic. We didn't experience that. That wasn't in the trend, Trav. You didn't say that. But that doesn't mean that we go away, right? So this is the time now, folks, to lean in, to fight, to experiment, to try something new. If you haven't done something, try it, right? Because you have nothing to lose. If Blockbuster decided to do this, think about this, folks. If they decided to just eliminate the candy that they decide, oh, people need more candy in our stores, they could have bought Netflix. It cost them more to put some extra aisles of candy in their stores, because when you went through the aisle to wait in line, you'd have to be buying candy. So they had to put an investment to put that infrastructure in. Because they did that, they could have bought Netflix. Okay.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's totally crazy.
Yes. And there's other facts about that too. Like, it's just like part of their R&D budget for 1 year they could have spent. But just the adding, they thought people would, instead of doing online, they thought people would want to have more snacks, which makes sense in a way, but they didn't see the hard trend, the internet. The hard trend is the internet gets faster, 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 faster. 5G is coming faster, faster, faster. If you don't think the internet, you think we're going to go backwards, folks? I always tell my dad all the time, do you think we're going to go backwards? Self-driving's here now. Do you think we're going to go backwards? No. It doesn't happen.
Well, and I think there's some real truths for the pandemic as well. Like, people need food is Absolutely. One of the ones that's really interesting.
Yes.
And people want food delivered to their houses. I don't think they're going to go backwards to wanting to spend time in stores. I don't think Instacart's going to lose share. I don't think all the meal delivery companies are going to lose share.
Right.
So that's one of those sort of truths as well. People want connection. It's fantastic. You know, all that Zoom does, I keep dreaming of things Zoom doesn't do yet. I want Zoom. I want a branded Zoom channel where I've got all my branding on it.
Like a
so
Zoom
that when
YouTube channel.
Yes, I want all of those things together. And so it's, again, I love this idea that there are these truths. One of the things that I was thinking about yesterday was the truth that people, we either need to move people or we need to move things, but we need transportation. So Uber, with Uber Eats, if they're not moving people, they're moving things.
Oh, yeah.
And it's incredible that those two things go together. The same drivers can do both.
Think about all the things they're going to be shipping one day. I mean, they're going to be literally, I think between them and Amazon, because Amazon has a huge shipping company now too, they're going to be fighting for delivering anything to you in 1 hour. Like, that's going to be the thing, because that's what China has. That's what Alibaba has in China. They can deliver stuff to you in 1 hour for like $1. It's insane, the infrastructure that Alibaba has created in China. So if you could have that same infrastructure here, that means just all these drivers and capacity, just people are ordering more stuff and we don't have to go to stores because it comes in 1 hour. I need a hammer across the road. I don't need to get that. It's coming to me. We ordered pizza from around the corner yesterday, folks, on Uber Eats. Not only because it's a delivery, I feel good about it. I did tip the driver. I'm always helping, tip everybody right now because I feel, that's important. So I'm maybe giving a little extra for that pizza that we got. But it was just perfect because we were watching and I didn't want to go anywhere. And so sometimes you want to go somewhere and no problem, I'll hop in the car and go do it. But sometimes you just want it to come to you. And so now more than ever, I think we want things just to come to us because we have of our devices and it helps them too. It makes me feel good to help someone else, even though I know I didn't actually go pick it up and that's kind of lazy. But I enjoy being lazy on Sundays. So I watched golf yesterday because it was golf. Sports are on right now finally for something, anything. And I was feeling it because I went DJing the night before. I had a few extra glasses of wine. And so I was ready to relax. So the point is, life comes to us now. Everything in the world that you want to come to you, they're going to be fighting to come to you in 1 hour or less because that's going to be our threshold. We want things to us fast. That's what Uber was so brilliant versus a taxi cab, because a taxi cab would take you an hour to have the guy come. You call the number. I mean, we used to use taxis back in the day when we would try to have a little fun on New Year's or something like that, when it would be busy. You couldn't even get a dang taxi back in the day because it'd be 2 hours or something for a taxi. they made it so brilliant because in 15, 20 minutes, it comes to you. And now in some big cities, it's 5 minutes. Some big cities, it's 1 minute. You got someone around the corner ready to pick you up. So the fact that we're fighting for time, because that's our most precious asset, and everybody is going to be trying to deliver you stuff to you or wherever this dang device is in 1 hour or less.
Well, I think one of those truths, and one of the places that I see that's really interesting, is people want things faster.
Yep.
We can assume that whatever the product is that you are delivering, they want it to be to you faster.
Right.
And but one of the things that I think is really interesting, I attended a online conference this weekend, and they were talking about delivering value to their clients, online value. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they're going back to is sending things in the mail, because it's so fun to get a box in the mail now, and it's so easy to fulfill, that the experiment is that even though we have this whole online business, how do we actually have that touch? Right. And so I think that's really interesting, how we experiment with nostalgia as well in our businesses.
Yeah, direct mail, things like that still can be effective in some cases, and so some of these things that were old legacy don't always have to go away. The new brilliant thing they have in direct mail is that anyone that's been to your website can eventually get a piece of mail from you based on your IP address. Intentional direct mail. It's like retargeting using direct mail. Look it up. Intentional direct mail. It's fascinating because it makes sense. Someone's been to your website. Next thing you know, they get a poster, a card in the mail that says, hey, 2 pizzas for $1, or whatever the offer is. You know what I mean? Some sort of buy one, get one free, or a free offer, or something of value, because you've been to my website. And it's like, wow, that's pretty damn personal. You really understood me. And it actually can be done at a very affordable per piece cost, like retargeting. As you maybe know about retargeting advertising, folks, very efficient, because you're only marketing to the people that have been to your website, which are the most hot leads you have. Anyone that's been to your website is your most valued asset. Someone off in the Google sphere that hasn't been to your dang site, they don't even care about you yet, right? So getting them and talking to the people that have been to your site, I feel like is like one of the most efficient ways of spending your money, because it's pretty cheap too. Most people don't know that. Oh, how much is retargeting? It's like $5 a day. There you go. You could be on CNBC, ESPN, ABC, the top sites, and your clients see all of a sudden, oh shit, you're on these top sites too. They like that, and they want to do that too, because it's very important. And as we know, everyone's tracking us, man. I mean, it's insane. But we're now about to take you into our top 10. Are you ready, Melanie?
Sure.
Let's go. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Instagram or Facebook?
Facebook.
Chicken or steak?
Steak.
There we go. Laptop or smartphone?
Both.
Yeah. Spotify or Pandora?
Spotify.
Yeah, it's awesome with Spotify. They got podcasts. They're doing everything.
Oh my gosh, love it.
I count on them. They put my daughter to sleep. I do a nap time. We have a nap time songs. We have bedtime songs. It's insane how
my family sits around and everybody takes a turn playing a song, and it's like
so awesome.
Community.
Like, virtual DJs. I mean, it's just insane the amount of things that are going to be coming from Spotify, especially now with Joe Rogan. My boy Joe Rogan is now partnered with them. Unbelievable. Movies or video games?
Video games.
Nice. Did you do that with the fam too? Did you guys play video games?
Not a lot. No.
We busted out a Nintendo 64 yesterday. Me and my wife finally busted one out. My wife has been telling me she's going to beat me at Mario Kart, so we busted it out, and she's going to be beating me at Mario Kart probably. But it's fun. It's fun here and there just to throw something different in your lives, especially nowadays. Can't always be working, folks. Reading books or listening to books?
Reading.
Nice. Stocks or real estate?
Both.
Nice. Diversified. Oceans or lakes?
Lakes.
Ooh. Do you have a favorite lake?
Well, I live on Lake Ontario, so
beautiful.
it's close. But I live in a near a Great Lake.
Right.
But for all that I think I like the ocean, I would rather swim in a lake. I like to swim.
There's more safety in the lake.
It's just, swimming in the ocean's intense. I loved it in my 20s, but in my 50s, not so much.
And out here on the West Coast, you don't know what's underneath you, folks. Because
I know.
Last time we were in the Pismo, folks, we saw a megalopod, which is more than 1,000 dolphins. I was looking out in the ocean, and I was saying, I was telling my wife, we saw some dolphins, but I was like, Amber, there's like so many underneath that you could see. And she was like, no way. And a week later, my mom sends an article. Hey, it cruised up the whole Pacific Ocean. We were in Pismo, so we had to be seeing part of the megalopod. 1,000 dolphins. The world is experiencing new things with nature, folks. They're like, thank God you guys aren't in my oceans. Thank God you guys aren't out here anymore. We're enjoying life. It's going to be interesting when we get back how we all adapt together. So when you wake up in the morning and you're looking yourself in the mirror, Melanie, why do you love being you?
I think I like being me. I mostly know how to feel joy, and I like who I am. I like the life I live. I like the people in my life. I feel like it's the life I want, and I get to live it every day.
That's the most important thing you said. I mean, that's for everyone listening. That's the most important way to live right there. Joy. Love and respect, joy. Love the life you live. We're all on a path and journey. Maybe there's goals you haven't gotten to yet. But that doesn't mean you can't work on them today. It starts one day at a time. Every day, folks. Do you think you'll ever retire?
No.
Yeah, that's my girl. I like that. How do you start your day? Do you have a routine with the fam? Do you have a certain routine that you guys have established? Or how's your morning look?
Well, my morning looks a little different in pandemic than it looks normally.
Right.
I usually swim at 5 a.m. 3 days a week.
Oh, wow. Good job. Nice.
But since the pandemic, I stay up till like midnight or 1 and I sleep in.
Right.
It's
Why not?
like a different schedule. So, but that swim in my life is really, I love starting my day that way.
Yeah, that's a refreshing way to start your day too. In that cool water, cold, or even, I don't know if it's heated or not, but just being in water. Yeah. It's a refreshing way to start the day. One of my favorite things about when I had a pool, because we have a community pool, would be just jumping in the pool first thing in the morning. Bam! Wake up. Oh, wow. I just woke up, because you wake up if you jump into a pool. I'll tell you that. Do you have a skill you want to master? Is there something you're looking at in this 2020, the craziest year we've ever experienced in my life? Is there something?
Yeah, I'm really trying to expand my reach. So I am like dedicating all of my free time to learning about Facebook ads and low dollar funnels and nurture campaigns and landing pages and well, I'll say it here first, but I'm planning to launch a mastermind in the fall.
Nice. Good job.
I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
So things that work on Facebook, folks. So I always talk about it: funny, emotional, motivational, and contests. If you focus on those 4 things with a funny meme, a motivational post, an emotional post, and a contest, which is, something where you're giving a $10, $5, $100 contest, you're going to win on Facebook. And do it every week. Be consistent. Not just to you, obviously, but we're talking to the listeners. But it's just a good strategy. I've been doing this for 11 years, and that works in every campaign. Those foundational moments, and then you can do other stuff on top of it. Do you have a favorite app on your phone right now?
Uber.
Ooh, I love it. I love everything about Uber.
I like the food that comes.
Oh, absolutely.
Although Instacart's a quick second.
Yes. That's amazing. Yeah, we're in Fresno, so Instacart's not as strong here yet because it's kind of a more spread out community, but it's getting here. We're getting Instacart. It's obviously built in the bigger cities, in San Francisco's, the LAs, and these huge cities that you can get quick groceries and all sorts of things. But yeah, it's amazing. The technology is just incredible. It's absolutely incredible, folks, the day we live in. And that's why I think going back to your first point of living in joy is to be so grateful for the things that we have, and because this is the time we didn't all plan this. No one planned this. My grandma's 92 years old. She did not think about this. She said, this is crazy to her, and so think about that. That's someone that's lived through a lot, depressions, wars, everything. The whole time she hasn't seen anything like this. So just realize, folks, we're all going through this in a different way. And we're going to get out of this. We're going to all lean in. We're going to get through this together, and that's the most important thing. A couple last questions for you. If you could sit down for a steak dinner with anyone in the world, who would it be?
Obama.
I love it. Yeah, it would be interesting. Man, I love it. He's been one. There's certain things in every president that I love and then I hate. And I can say the same thing about our current president. I can say the thing about past presidents. I'm not it's just as just a human, you're just like, what the hell? Why did you say that? Why the hell did you do that? And vice versa. But the thing I love about Obama, I just instantly connected to him. Although some of the message I felt was a little grandiose as far as like, you're going to change and all this stuff, because it was hard to say some of those things and do it. But I just felt like his intention was there, and that really changed. And it's changed our world forever in that we actually had our first African-American president as in the United States. And I think that sets precedent for other races to be, Chinese or Indian or anyone that's an American that is part of our nation to eventually be the next president and change the face of what that looks like. I'm going to demand that it has to be someone in business personally. So I want the CEOs of Starbucks, give me Bob Iger, give me someone that's done a big business and maybe has a different point of view than I do on certain things, but knows how to run a business. And they got my vote, no matter who they are. But I love Obama. I think Michelle Obama is a truly amazing woman. And I would love to get two of them together because they've got to have so many interesting stories. And it'd just be interesting to see like the dynamic between the two of them in a meeting. Because I think if you got Obama by himself, he's him. But if you got the two of them together, you find out who the real boss is. As we all know, the real boss is usually the mama bear in the house. So
I'm totally with you. When as soon as I said Obama, I was like, oh, I should have said Michelle. I think the two of them together is exactly right.
That's right. Yeah, you get the whole dynamic. If you could give our listeners one last real talk thought today, what would that be?
I think that you're experimenting out there. I think you had to. Don't forget to collect data and continue to ask yourself to experiment in ways that are safe to fail. Don't construct experiments that are too big, too hard, too expensive. Do small experiments, figure out what you learned, collect data, and then form your next experiment. I always say an experiment should be 24 hours to 7 days, not, 3 years with $1 billion budget.
I love that. So constantly test, keep working at it, folks. And where's the best place for people to find you?
You can find me at melanieparish.com. You can find my book, The Experimental Leader, on Amazon or all of the booksellers. It's available on, all the digital platforms too.
Well, I love your energy, Melanie. I think you have an amazing energy. I love that you're a mama bear. I love that you have a great love and joy for life too. And I know that you're going to continue to prosper. You're going to continue to grow. I know you're helping people out there prosper and grow and experiment and evolve their businesses, as we all have to, especially right now, folks. So you've been hanging out with Melanie Parish and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real. What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform, and also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it, and thank you so much for listening today. We're all going through a lot right now, and Real-Time Outsource, my business, is giving back to local and small businesses. Through our social media services and campaigns, we are actually helping small businesses get more exposure during these times, and also when we get through these times. At the end of the day, we don't know how long this is all going to last, but most importantly, you got to think about your business right now and take it seriously. So come check us out at realtimeoutsource.com, and we would love for you to qualify and get the process started where we can take a look at your business and see if we can qualify you for some of our services. At little to no costs for most of the businesses, and some businesses, you're going to have to pay, but that's just part of life, right? But most importantly is that I think this is the time, folks, that you can actually help thrive in your business. And so I would love to help you personally with our team. We're all going through a tough time right now. So take advantage of us. realtimeoutsource.com. Check us out, and we would love to do some business with you and help you with your social and digital media in 2020 and beyond.